During labor, a woman delivers 10 babies. However, panic ensues when doctors realize one of the newborns isn't human, sparking fear about what lurked inside her. In a moment of both awe and trepidation, a woman experiences the onset of labor and successfully delivers an astonishing brood of 10 infants. However, the jubilant atmosphere quickly transforms into a chilling scene as medical professionals uncover the shocking revelation that one of the newborns defies the very notion of humanity. A sense of terror engulfs all those present, their minds consumed by the unimaginable entity that lay within the depths of the woman's belly. Let's have a peek at your little one. Or, judging by the size of your belly, it must be quite a big one, right? He chuckled while preparing the gel and transducer. Jane settled back on the stretcher, her hand tightly clasped in Edward's, both eagerly fixated on the screen. With gentle movements, the doctor began the examination, a smile of pure delight gracing his face at first. However, as the examination progressed, a frown creased his brow, a mix of confusion and surprise evident in his expression. "What is it, doctor? Is our baby all right?" The mother's voice trembled with concern. Dr. Walter whispered almost to himself, barely audible. "Oh my goodness. This is impossible. It's beyond belief." Increasingly anxious, the husband gently squeezed his wife's hand, their apprehension growing. With a tense voice, he implored the doctor for answers. "Doctor, what's the matter?" Instead of an immediate response, the doctor requested a moment of patience and swiftly exited the room. Returning with a team of medical professionals, the doctor's face mirrored the shock and disbelief that now consumed the room. "Unbelievable," a nurse muttered under her breath as they crowded around the ultrasound screen. Jane, overwhelmed by the mounting tension, could no longer bear it and collapsed onto the stretcher, crying out, "Doctor, please, tell us what's happening." With a cautious smile, the doctor turned to the couple and revealed the astonishing news. "Jane, you're carrying 10 babies. I counted 10. The parents turned pale, completely silenced by the weight of the revelation. It felt as though a bomb had been dropped on them. "What? 10 babies? You must be joking." Edward's legs wobbled, his vision blurred, and he felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. The medical professionals surrounding him nodded solemnly, their agreement silently adding weight to the already overwhelming news. Jane's emotions erupted, tears streaming down her face as shock and uncertainty engulfed her. Together, they left the sterile office, their footsteps heavy with the gravity of the situation. Their minds struggled to comprehend the enormity of it all. 10 lives, 10 tiny beings, were growing inside Jane's womb, instantly transforming their small family into something unimaginable. The journey that lay ahead was beyond anything they had ever dreamed or feared. With tear-filled eyes and minds swirling with the unexpected, they stepped into their home. "Oh my God, my love, 10 babies!" Jane's voice trembled, her body frozen in disbelief. The news of 10 babies marked the beginning of an extraordinary and challenging adventure, one that would forever alter the course of their lives. In the weeks that ensued after the unexpected revelation of the ultrasound, Jane and Edward grappled with the profound realization that they were on the brink of embarking on a journey as parents to a brood of 10. Seated in the cozy confines of their humble abode, their eyes met, conveying a mix of emotions that words alone could not capture. As their hearts danced to the rhythm of apprehension and awe, a captivating blend of fear and wonder engulfed their souls. Jane's exclamation of disbelief echoed through the room, her voice heavy with the weight of the immense responsibility that lay before them. "My goodness, love," she repeated, her shoulders burdened with the enormity of the task at hand. Edward, ever the optimist and deeply rooted in his faith, clasped her hands in his and reassured her. We will find a way, my love. If God has entrusted us with these precious souls, then surely He believes in our ability to raise them. We must trust in His divine plan. Filled with a renewed sense of faith and determination, the couple embarked on their preparations for the arrival of their little ones. Together, they transformed the spare room into a spacious nursery, carefully arranging multiple cribs to accommodate their growing family. "Look," Edward chuckled, trying to maintain a light-hearted spirit amidst the logistical challenge. "We can fit 3 cribs in here, 2 for 3 babies each, and 1 for 4. We may not have room for 10 cribs, but we have enough love to go around." Word of Jane's impending arrival of 10 babies quickly spread throughout the close-knit community. Despite being a humble family in a small village, the community rallied together in an extraordinary display of support and solidarity. A remarkable display of compassion emerged as neighbors, friends, and even strangers rallied together to contribute clothes, diapers, and other necessities for the impending arrival of the newborns. The overwhelming wave of solidarity touched the couple's hearts, filling them with gratitude and hope. "It's truly incredible what everyone is doing for us. We could never afford all of this on our own," Jane exclaimed, her happiness evident in her voice. Her husband nodded, affirming, "I've always believed that God will guide us every step of the way." Time passed swiftly, and Jane's belly continued to expand at an astonishing rate. Carrying multiple babies took a toll on her physically, and she increasingly felt the weight and exhaustion of nurturing 10 lives within her. Her body underwent unimaginable transformations, and each movement became more arduous. However, as the months progressed, the expectant mother began experiencing worrisome pains. In the beginning, she attempted to ascribe the anguish to the sheer magnitude of her expanding belly and the multitude of babies nestled within. However, the pain refused to wane, instead intensifying with each passing moment. Edward observed this with a deepening unease, his mind plagued by the persistent fear that something was amiss. Refusing to leave anything to chance, the couple hastily scheduled an emergency ultrasound appointment, their sole objective being to ensure the safety and well-being of their precious little ones. As they embarked on the journey to the hospital, an air of anxiety settled between them, enveloping them in a heavy silence. Both harbored a shared trepidation, acutely aware that the impending ultrasound held the power to reveal a myriad of possibilities. After all, a pregnancy encompassing the miraculous creation of 10 children was far from ordinary, and even pregnancies of a more typical nature, involving 2 or 3 babies, carried inherent risks. Would their cherished offspring emerge unscathed? It was a voyage fraught with conflicting emotions, a delicate balance of hope and fear, as they anxiously awaited a glimpse into the beating hearts of Jane's precious little ones. Filled with an overwhelming sense of apprehension, the couple found themselves consumed by worry on that fateful day. The woman could feel the babies inside her belly moving in an unusual and intense manner, causing a deep unease to settle within her. With her pregnancy at 7 months, it felt as if her swollen abdomen was on the verge of bursting at any given moment. Seeking answers and solace, they made their way to the clinic for an ultrasound, where the pregnant woman poured out her anxieties to Dr. Walter. Trembling with fear, she implored, "Doctor, is there something amiss with our precious babies? Their constant movements? It's just not normal." The doctor, who had been by their side since the beginning of this miraculous journey, endeavored to offer reassurance as he readied the equipment for another test. However, this particular task proved to be quite challenging. With an astonishing 10 babies crammed within Jane's womb and the limited resources of the village reflected in the less advanced ultrasound equipment, deciphering the true nature of the situation became an arduous undertaking. As the examination unfolded, the doctor's countenance grew increasingly grave, mirroring the depth of their shared concern. With caution, he adjusted the transducer, attempting to unravel the origin of the woman's agony and the peculiar behavior of the infants. Edward held Jane's hand firmly, their eyes fixed on the doctor's troubled countenance. Suddenly, Dr. Walter muttered under his breath, visibly shaken. "My goodness, one of them! Is it possible?" He scratched his forehead in disbelief. "One of them is not an infant." These words reverberated in the room, leaving the couple filled with horror. "What?" they exclaimed, their voices trembling with panic and confusion. Sensing the need for additional opinions, the doctor excused himself and hurriedly left to summon other physicians. A few moments later, with the room now crowded with specialists, one of them confirmed the disconcerting observation. "Indeed, one of them is truly not a baby," he stated, equally perplexed. "Then what is it?" the mother exclaimed, her voice filled with desperation. In that very moment, Jane's cry of pain pierced the air, capturing the attention of both the doctors and Edward. It became clear to them that the intensity of her suffering was directly connected to the mysterious findings on the ultrasound. A mix of pain, fear, confusion, and a lack of answers triggered the onset of labor for Jane. "She's going into labor! We need to act fast!" the doctors urgently exclaimed. The medical team swiftly sprang into action, preparing Jane for a premature delivery. Edward, standing by his wife's side, tightly held her hand, providing a small measure of comfort amidst the chaos. The situation they found themselves in was beyond anything they could have ever anticipated or prepared for. As the time for the baby's birth drew near, they not only faced the expected arrival of their children, but also the excruciating uncertainty surrounding the 10th baby, who, according to the doctors, was not a baby at all. An amalgamation of fear, hope, and love consumed them as they anxiously awaited the outcome of that extraordinary and terrifying day. Jane, in need of urgent medical attention, was swiftly placed on a stretcher and whisked away to the operating room. Along the chaotic journey, Edward clasped his wife's hand, attempting to provide solace amidst the pandemonium. "Stay calm, my love. You will be all right," he murmured, concealing his own trepidation. Inside the operating room, tension hung in the air like a heavy fog. Doctors and nurses moved with haste, diligently preparing Jane for an emergency cesarean section. The intensifying pain and the welfare of the unborn child necessitated immediate and precise action. "Will my babies make it through?" the tearful woman inquired, her gaze fixed upon the doctors as they gently positioned her on the operating table. Edward anxiously waited outside the operating room, his heart pounding and his hands trembling as he silently prayed for the safety of his wife and children. Each passing second felt like an eternity of anguish and anticipation. "Please, let everything go well," he pleaded in his thoughts. Inside the room, the doctors worked urgently, preparing for the birth of the children. One by one, the babies were gently brought into the world, their cries filling the room with a mix of relief and apprehension. Even under the effects of anesthesia, Jane shed tears of joy as she heard each of her children cry for the first time. Finally, after being sterilized, Edward was allowed to enter the room. He approached his wife, holding her hand and tenderly stroking her hair, his eyes filled with overwhelming emotions at the sight of their precious children. Amidst tears of joy, he affectionately referred to their little warriors as beautiful. The babies, born prematurely, were carefully tended to and placed in incubators. Each tiny face bore a unique blend of Jane and Edward's features, a testament to their shared creation. Artificial respiration had played a vital role in ushering these new lives into the world. Yet, A lingering tension filled the air as the doctors continued their work. 9 of the 10 babies had been delivered successfully, but uncertainty clouded the fate of the final one. When the time came to retrieve the last baby, the doctor's face contorted with surprise and confusion. "What is this?" the doctor whispered, peering inside the woman who remained on the stretcher. Jane and Edward exchanged worried glances, their minds swirling with confusion. The fear and anxiety that had accompanied their entire pregnancy seemed to converge in that singular moment. Something was amiss, something unexpected, and it filled them with deep apprehension. "Doctor, what is happening?" Jane asked, her voice tinged with the remnants of anesthesia-induced dizziness. The doctors continued their assessments, leaving Jane and Edward in anxious anticipation. What should have been a moment of celebration now hung in suspense as they awaited updates on the 10th addition to their growing family. The operating room buzzed with a mix of anxiety and hope. When Edward noticed the medical team's urgent demeanor, he could no longer resist and peered beyond the surgical curtain. What he witnessed left him stunned and speechless. "What's the matter, honey?" his wife inquired, her voice tinged with concern. "I can't quite put it into words, dear," he muttered, his expression one of shock as he beheld what lay inside his wife. Sensing the couple's distress, the doctors stepped forward to clarify the situation. Walter approached, his demeanor grave, yet empathetic. "Jane, Edward, what we discovered wasn't quite what we expected. It turns out to be a myoma, a mass that sometimes develops in the body. That would explain the pain you've been experiencing, Jane, and why your body went into labor prematurely. Your body was trying to protect the other healthy babies, trying to deliver them earlier," the doctor elucidated. Upon hearing this, the couple exchanged a glance, a mixture of relief and sorrow evident in their eyes. "We're going to proceed with removing this myoma, all right? You can trust that everything will be all right," he reassured. As the mass was carefully extracted, the couple felt the gravity of the situation sink in. While relieved that there wasn't a 10th baby in jeopardy, the presence of the myoma signified a different kind of loss, a reminder of the challenges they had encountered, and a peculiar loss considering they had always believed there were 10 babies. It felt peculiar that one of their children had never actually existed. Following the removal of the myoma, the doctor approached and said, "I apologize for all the fear and anxiety. Now let's focus on your recovery and taking care of your 9 children." Jane and Edward sobbed in unison, not just because of the predicament they found themselves in, but also due to the overwhelming rush of hearing their 9 infants wail, a sign that they were alive and in need of utmost care and attention. The resonance of their cries echoed throughout the room, infusing warmth into their hearts and rekindling their optimism. The forthcoming 2 months promised to be an arduous journey. With their babies being premature and delicate, they required round-the-clock intensive care. The parents pledged to go to any lengths necessary, dedicating their days and nights to the hospital, familiarizing themselves with the intricacies of caring for preemies, and offering ceaseless prayers for the well-being and resilience of each tiny soul fighting for survival. As the days rolled on, the couple's resolve only solidified. They understood that the road ahead would be long and fraught with hurdles and obstacles, yet they stood ready to confront it head-on, united in faith, love, and the anticipation of a bright and healthy future for their 9 blessings. After months of careful nursing and many prayers, the big day finally arrived. The couple's 9 babies were all set to leave the hospital. Jane and Edward, joined by medical and nursing staff, proudly carried their precious children, 5 girls and 4 boys, out of the hospital, greeted by applause and tears of happiness from the staff and fellow parents who had followed their journey. The whole hospital community came together to celebrate the new lives of these resilient little ones. Upon arriving home, the couple arranged the special nursery they had prepared since learning about their babies, with 3 cribs ready to welcome them. They placed 3 babies in each crib, carefully arranging them. The room was filled with love, hope, and the sweet sounds of newborn murmurs and sighs. "It's perfect, 3 each, just as we planned," joked the new father. Nonetheless, a touch of sadness lingered in the couple's hearts, a silent reminder of the myoma they briefly believed to be a 10th child. It was a mix of loss and thankfulness. Thankful for their 9 healthy children and for the medical care that ensured their well-being. The story of the woman giving birth to 9 children quickly spread throughout the area, capturing the attention and support of the community. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers continued to assist the couple with food, clothing, and all the necessities for the babies for several months. The kindness and warmth shown were echoes of the admiration and joy inspired by the story of the 9 little ones. As the babies grew, each displaying their unique personalities and charms, they became known as the non-euplets in the region, a cheerful display of life that filled Jane and Edward's home with laughter, tears, and bustling activity. Despite being tired, the parents felt grateful for each day spent with their kids. Watching them play and interact filled them with awe, seeing how much they had grown. What used to be sleepless nights and worries had transformed into a daily routine brimming with care, learning, and, above all, love. Their journey served as a constant reminder that even in tough times, hope should never fade. With support from their community, faith, and unyielding love, they were witnessing small miracles. As their children blossomed into healthy, joyful kids, Jane and Edward realized every sacrifice was worthwhile. They had bestowed upon their kids life's most precious gift. And in return, these 9 little ones had brought unparalleled purpose and joy into their lives. If you enjoyed this tale, I bet the next video you stumble upon will tug at your heartstrings as well. Remember to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring the bell to stay updated on all our future videos. Catch you in the next uplifting narrative.